All right. Again, we are recording from computer science, but this also works for cybersecurity because right now, currently, we're working on some of the same topics. All right, if we go to our classwork tab right here, yesterday I had you working on the past due assignments, getting those things turned in. I will be grading. Remember that you have to click view more and view more until you can see everything. I will be grading those, and where I have not been putting in zeros in PowerSchool, I will be putting in zeros in PowerSchool from here on out. So when I grade and I update, it won't just be a zero in Google Classroom, it will also be in PowerSchool. All right, today's assignment, your reflections are down here. Yesterday we should have done 21 and today would be 22. But I had you working on makeup assignments yesterday, getting that stuff done. So today you need to make sure you do reflection 21 and reflection 22 so that you stay current. And if you have these done by the end of the week, that's all the reflections for this first quarter. We'll have other types of bell ringers after that. All right. Our cyber literacy, this is what we're working on today. Chapter 3, text, notes, and key terms, activity 1, and then the quiz. This is a pretty important chapter. It's about cyberbullies. And whether we want to admit it or not, cyberbullying is a big problem. I would say it's a bigger problem even around middle school kids because you guys are right there on your social media all the time. Sometimes what you think is funny really hurts someone else, and maybe you didn't even intend it to hurt them, but it does. So cyberbullying has become kind of a rampant problem, especially, among this age group. Says, many of us, unfortunately, have witnessed classmates bullying others, and some of us have experienced bullying firsthand, often through our computers or phones. In this chapter, you will learn about the different types of cyberbullying, the technological tools of the cyberbully, and the negative effects of cyberbullying. Prevention and coping skills are discussed, as are the positive social changes that can occur when teens use their experiences with cyberbullying to educate others. Believe it or not, you have the power to make change right now. You have the power to make positive social changes immediately. I really love the Diary of Anne Frank and some of the things that she writes. One of her quotes that I really love, and I'm not quoting it directly because I may have a few words off here. She talks about, isn't it wonderful that no one need wait a single moment to begin to change the world? She talks about, even as a youth, even as a young person, you don't have to wait till you grow up. You don't have to wait till you finish school. You don't have to wait till you finish college. You don't have to wait until there's a perfect time in your life to do it. The perfect time to make those changes is now. Right now, you have the ability to make positive social changes now. You have the ability to be an influencer. Yes. We're going to be going over these, and what you can do is you don't have to write this down. This is just the overview. But when you take notes, like through the video, I'm not going to stop for you to write everything down. But when you watch the video on a replay, you can pause it wherever you need to write those things down. Okay, so do the best you can to stay up while we're making the video, and then you can pause it later on whenever you watch it again if you need to get those things down. Okay, that was a good question. Again, you can begin to make those positive changes right now in your life. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm making a recording.
Just sign up. I'll do it. I'll get it. Thank you.
All right. So again, like Anne Frank said, you don't have to wait till you're grown. You can start now to make those changes. And especially on topics like this that have to do with cyberbullies. I know that you've seen people be cyberbullied. I don't know if maybe you didn't participate in one way or another, and maybe you didn't even realize you were participating, but maybe you became part of the problem and didn't know it. So what we're going to do with this chapter is we're going to go over what all of these things are to make sure that you understand that you don't become part of the problem. And then if you see the problem happening, you know what to do to stop it. Your key terms are right here. You don't have very many of them this time. There's only, what, 7 of them?
Using the bad pressure here.
No, she's not here today.
Just feel about not having a laptop, Mr. Thank you.
All right. Again, your key terms are not in alphabetical order, but they are in the order that they are in the reading. Here's cyberbullying right here. It says cyberbullying occurs when digital messages are used to threaten, torment, or embarrass someone. And there may be an even better definition of cyberbullying in here. What does it look like? And it gives you a little story right here. Imagine Sabrina, a 9th grader, excited to start her first week of high school. When she gets home from her first day, she logs onto her Facebook and is greeted with a flood of messages. Everyone seems to be talking about her, but the attention isn't good. Mean-spirited comments about her looks and her family and untrue rumors are posted everywhere. Classmates and even friends chimed in with degrading comments about her weight, hair, and intelligence. Sabrina can't believe the hurtful words she's seeing. Before she knows it, the messages are forwarded to many of her fellow students in school. Sabrina's friends respond with nothing more than a LOL. Only this isn't a joke. This is a case of cyberbullying. So if you don't stand up for someone and you participate in it, you're just as big a part of the problem as they were. All right, common types of cyberbullying are right here. It says it takes different forms. Listed below are some of the most common types of cyberbullying. Harassment, repeatedly sending messages with an offensive or derogatory meaning. And I realize that only parts of these definitions are highlighted, but on these right here, I want you to write the whole definition that they give you because these are really good ones. Flaming is insulting a participant in an online discussion or argument using volatile and cruel language. That happens a lot, and I know there's a lot of adults guilty of that. A lot of adults. Yes, ma'am. Where did we find this? Okay, that's on the assignment. It's the PDF file for Cyber Literacy, Chapter 3. Click on the PDF document. All right, outing is revealing someone's private thoughts, secrets, or personal information. Degradation is using digital tools to spread lies or rumors. Deception is stealing someone's passwords and impersonating him or her or creating a false account. You ever pretended to be someone else and just mess with someone? Like even if it was one of your friends, you just messed with them? That is called deception. And it is actually a form of cyberbullying. All right, let's see. Common technological tools of cyberbullying right here. You're going to want to write down this list. The 5 most common tools: emails, websites, text messages, instant messages, and forums and chat rooms. These are places where cyberbullying is very, very common, and these are the tools that cyberbullies use. Again, I'm not going to stop on these. I'm going to point these out to you, but you can watch the video again later and you can pause it so that you can take those notes. If you're watching this by video right now, you go ahead and pause it and write your notes down. In-person bullying versus cyberbullying, there is a difference. Okay, in-person bullying, that means that you're right there and it's usually physical or verbal, and it's right there in front of you. Right here, in-person, however, people often respond differently to in-person bullying than they do to cyberbullying. If you witnessed a friend being pushed to the ground, what would you do? Would you yell for help or try to stop the fight, report the incident? If you heard a person saying mean things to a friend, would you verbally intervene? Not doing anything is difficult if you are an eyewitness to bodily harm or to in-person verbal cruelty. It's kind of hard as a human being to just not do something. because it kind of goes against everything that's in you about justice and what's right and wrong. But then there are those people who you just want to stand back and stay out of it anyway. You can see the person committing the violence or making vicious remarks, and you're often compelled to do something about it. But online, bullies can sling hurtful words from a distance, and many times you don't even know who that person is. And people are often less inclined to get involved. In addition, cyberbullies sometimes find ways to torment others while remaining anonymous. That's the big deal right here about cyberbullying. It's easy to remain anonymous and do it. They can hide behind their screen. So that makes it difficult for others to stick up for whoever it is that's being bullied. Characteristics of cyberbullying. False digital accounts or multiple screen names make it easy for bullies to remain anonymous. Being anonymous is a big deal to a cyberbully. They don't want anybody to know it's them that's doing it. Cyberbullying can follow people home, which can take away the place where many teens feel most safe. You know what? If somebody is pushing you around at school or talking ugly to you at school, you can leave school and they don't necessarily go home with you. But cyberbullying goes home with you because you've got your phone with you 24/7. You've got your social media right there all the time. So it takes away any security or safety that you have because they can reach you through your social media at any time. That's what makes cyberbullying so much worse sometimes. Cyberbullying knows no limits because messages can be publicly shared through social media and they can be seen by people around the world. It only takes it being forwarded a few times and my goodness, somebody in China or Australia could be watching what you did. It just takes a few forwards. Hiding behind a screen sometimes gives bullies more confidence to say things they wouldn't say in person. Again, that being anonymous and hiding behind the screen. They're there. They're still doing what they're doing, but they don't really have to face it because they know nobody knows who they are. This particular chart right here, the cyberbullying versus in-person bullying. I want you to make sure that you either write down this chart, take a snip of this chart, or a screenshot of this chart. But I want this in your notes. If you're not sure how to put it in your notes, you can just take the picture of it, take the snip, and you can upload the picture if you want to, or you can paste the picture into your notes. But I want you to have this information because this is important. And these are things that we're probably going to use for some kinds of discussion questions. Notice that the thing that the cyberbullying and in-person bullying have in common is they both cause emotional scarring and they can both lead to anxiety, stress, and depression. Remember to get that chart. Coping with cyberbullying. The 5 strategies listed below will help you cope with cyberbullying in a more constructive way. And they give you 5 steps to take. First of all, tell a trusted adult. Don't try to figure it out on your own if you don't know what to do. Go to an adult that you trust. Don't seek revenge. All right? Dishing it back does not help. It only inflames the situation and makes it worse. Report the incident to the service provider. All you really have to do on your social media if somebody's doing this is you can block that person and then you can't see what they're doing anymore and they can't see you. Block communication. Now, if it says to report the incident to the service provider, if it is something that is very, very blatant, maybe they're spreading some really hateful things, or maybe they're threatening violence or things like that, that is definitely something you should report to the service provider so they can block that account. And then all you have to do is block the communication from yourself. And then number 5, and this is most important, maintain positive online safety habits. And we're going to talk more about those. We talked a little bit about that, but there are a lot of things that you guys need to be aware of about not sharing your personal information and making sure you have strong passwords and things like that. And we will definitely spend some more time on that. Preventing cyberbullying. You can take steps to avoid becoming a cyberbully or becoming the victim of cyberbullies. One important action you can take is to protect your private information. It may not seem like a big deal to post your phone number or email on an online profile, but you never know who will gain access to that information. While it is not uncommon to give a phone number to a friend in real life, many people have online friends who aren't necessarily real friends. For example, you may friend someone online because you go to the same school, but you may not actually know anything about that person. This is the important part right here. If you wouldn't give your phone number to someone in real life, you shouldn't do so online. If it's not someone you know well enough that you would actually give your phone number to, you don't give it out online either. That's personal information that you don't share. It could put you at risk. It could put your family at risk. That means that you should keep private information off of online profiles or other publicly accessible areas. Conversely, if you find someone's home address, email, or phone number on his or her online profile, don't misuse the information to harass the person. All right, how to avoid becoming a cyberbully or falling victim. Respect your peers, both online and offline. Don't treat people cruelly. If faced with a bully, be the bigger person by walking away. Don't participate in spreading or receiving hurtful messages. Help raise awareness. The more teens discuss cyberbullying, the less likely it is that people will engage in the behavior. If you tell your friends that's not cool, eventually they're going to stop because they want you to think they're cool. And if they're doing that kind of stuff and you tell them it's not cool, then maybe they'll quit. Never text or post photographs that you would be embarrassed for your parents or teachers to see. Once a photograph is sent or posted, it's in cyberspace and cyberbullies can take advantage of it. Embarrassing photographs can haunt you for the rest of your life. Once it is out there, it is out there, and it is almost impossible to take it back. Don't post it if you wouldn't want someone to see it. All right, effects of cyberbullying. This is another one that you're going to need to take a snip of or a picture. You can do a screenshot, doesn't matter. Excuse me. All right. Those who fall victim to digital jabs must also deal with mental and emotional wounds. Cyberbullying has some very, very negative consequences. So let's make sure that you are aware of these. We will talk about them in more detail later on. And lastly, positive social change. Cyberbullying is bad for our health and can leave emotional scars that are difficult to overcome, but some teens take their experiences with cyberbullying and use them for the common good. Listed below are the two most common ways to turn a cyberbullying incident into a force for positive social change. Remember, we started with Anne Frank saying, you don't have to wait till you're grown up to do something about it. You don't have to wait till you've got a PhD in college or whatever. You can make changes now. It says, number one, many teens deal with the aftermath of bullying by talking about it with a trusted adult, friends, or a counselor. Some share their story with other teens. Number two, some teens use their experiences with cyberbullying as a platform to promote awareness. By publicly speaking out on the issue, teens have a chance to help change negative online behavior. Remember we said that cyberbullies like to remain anonymous? But when their activities are called out and they see that nobody likes what they did, they really want to remain anonymous after that, and maybe they will stop. All right. This is as far as you have to go as for the assignment on key terms, notes, and text. You need to make sure you take those notes. You can go back. You can go back to the beginning of the video, go slowly through it if you need to, stop it on the screens that you need to stop on. Then Let's go here to cyber literacy. Activity 1. Remember, these are the ones that you click on. You begin with Google. Now you will use your school email address. All right. This one only has 5 true false questions on it. Notice activity 2 says key terms. You're already doing the key terms. You don't have to do them again here. Just answer the true false questions. When you're done, click submit. It will score it for you. After it scores it for you, you go back to the assignment and you view it. And on the right-hand side where it says private comments, you type your score in there, you submit that comment, and then you mark it as done or turn it in. And that will take care of activity 1. And then the quiz works the same way. It's, again, the same thing where you use your school email address to access it. Remember that I have already told you that you are allowed to use your notes or this document when you do the activity or when you do the quiz. I am not telling you you cannot use the notes. So if you're not sure of an answer, look it up. I like that you know how to look things up. That's important just as well as having it memorized. All right, at this point, are there any questions about what you need to do on the Cyber Literacy Chapter 3 assignments? Do you know how to access them? Do you know how to do them? Yes. All right, I don't see any questions or hands going up. So let me stop this recording.